Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Today we're taking a deep dive into Fourth Wing,
Okay.
a fantasy novel by Rebecca Yarros that's been generating a ton of buzz.
A lot of buzz.
Buckle up, because this one is a wild ride.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
Imagine a world
Sure.
where dragon riders are the ultimate warriors defending their kingdom against monstrous creatures called Venin.
Wow. Okay.
Now, picture our protagonist, Violet Sorrengail,
Okay.
a young woman who dreams of a quiet life as a scribe, but is forced by her formidable mother, General Sorrengail,
Uh-huh.
into the perilous writers' quadrant of the Basgiath War College.
Okay, so right off the bat, we have
Yeah.
this clash between Violet's aspirations and her mother's expectations.
Right?
It's almost like a classic coming-of-age story,
Yes.
but with dragons and deadly aerial combat.
Exactly.
I'm already intrigued. What happens next?
Well, Violet is not exactly built for dragon riding. She has
That's
weak joints, prefers daggers to heavier swords, and is generally more comfortable with books than with battle tactics.
Right.
The opening scene where she confronts her mother and sister Mira about being forced into the writer's quadrant is incredibly tense.
Oh, wow.
You can feel Violet's desperation as she argues that their deceased father wouldn't have wanted this for her.
It sounds like there's a lot of emotional baggage there, especially with the shadow of their brother Brennan,
Yes, definitely.
who died in service to the kingdom.
Yes.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
So how does Violet handle this sudden shift from scholarly pursuits to intense military training?
Well, at least initially.
Okay.
The first challenge she faces is the parapet,
Okay.
a narrow bridge hundreds of feet in the air.
Oh, yeah.
It's a test of courage and balance,
Yeah.
designed to weed out those who are not cut out for the writer's quadrant.
Oh, I see.
Tragically, a cadet named Dylan falls to his death, highlighting the very real dangers these cadets face.
Yeah.
But in a moment of quick thinking,
Yeah.
Violet saves another cadet, Rianne, by trading boots with her,
Oh, wow.
proving that she's more resourceful than she appears.
That's a great example of how Yarros throws us right into the action,
Exactly.
establishing the high stakes from the get-go.
Right away.
It's not just about passing exams.
Yeah.
It's about survival.
Yeah.
Did this near-death experience change Violet's outlook at all?
It definitely shook her up,
Yeah.
but it also sparked a determination to prove herself.
Okay.
However, not everyone is rooting for her.
Uh-oh.
There's Jack Barlow,
Okay.
a cruel and arrogant cadet who seems to enjoy tormenting Violet, even threatening to kill her.
Oh, jeez.
His presence adds another layer of danger to an already perilous environment.
So we have a reluctant heroine thrust into a brutal world, facing life-threatening challenges, and a menacing antagonist.
Yes.
Where does the story go from here?
Well, Violet arrives at the writer's quadrant,
Okay.
and it's a complete sensory overload.
Okay.
She's surrounded by cadets who have been training for this their entire lives.
Why?
And she quickly realizes just how far behind she is.
I
She's thrown into rigorous physical training, grueling flight simulations, and intense academic lessons on dragon lore and aerial combat.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
It sounds incredibly overwhelming.
it is.
Did she have anyone on her side during this intense initiation?
She did.
Okay.
We meet Dane and Zidane Rierson,
Okay.
two prominent figures at the academy.
Uh-huh.
Dane is a childhood friend who offers support and guidance,
Okay.
while Zidane is the enigmatic and powerful wing leader who initially seems distant and aloof.
I see.
Their presence adds another layer of complexity to Violet's experience, hinting at potential alliances and perhaps romantic entanglement.
Ooh, a bit of forbidden romance.
Perhaps.
This is getting juicy.
Yes.
Tell me more about these dragons. What
Yeah.
are they like?
In this world, dragons are more than just beasts.
Okay.
They're sentient beings with unique personalities and abilities.
Wow.
During their training, the cadets attend classes
Mhm.
led by Professor Kaori,
Oh.
who teaches them about the different types of dragons, including the rare and dangerous feathertails.
Feather tails.
Yes. These dragons are known for their speed and agility,
Mm-hmm.
but are said to never bond with riders,
Wow.
making them somewhat of a legend.
That's fascinating.
It is.
It sounds like there's a lot of lore and mythology surrounding these creatures.
A lot.
Did this foreshadow anything significant in the story?
It definitely sets the stage for some surprising events later on.
Okay.
But before we get there,
Okay.
let's talk about the threshing.
Okay.
This is a pivotal event where the cadets attempt to bond with the dragon.
Okay.
If they're accepted, they become a dragon rider.
Ah.
If they're rejected, well, let's just say it doesn't end well.
Oh, no.
The tension leading up to the threshing is palpable
Oh, okay.
as the cadets grapple with their fears and the possibility of a fiery demise.
That sounds terrifying.
It is
And considering Violet's lack of experience, I can only imagine how anxious she must have been.
very anxious.
Did anything else happen leading up to this crucial event?
Yes. There were a few incidents that really highlighted the cutthroat nature of the academy.
Yeah.
During a sparring session, we see Jack Barlow's brutality firsthand
Yeah.
when he intentionally breaks another cadet's neck, reinforcing his role as a dangerous antagonist.
That's chilling.
It is.
It seems like Violet is surrounded by danger, both from the dragons and from her fellow cadets.
She is.
How did she navigate this increasingly hostile environment?
With a mix of determination and a good dose of luck.
Okay.
Before the threshing, the cadets face another grueling challenge called the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a brutal obstacle course designed to test their physical and mental limits.
Right.
Violet struggles initially, but a fellow cadet named Sawyer gives her some sage advice.
Okay.
Focus on survival, not speed.
I see.
This advice proves invaluable as Violet uses her intelligence and agility to navigate the treacherous course, even managing to outsmart the cruel and vindictive Tynan who tries to sabotage her.
Wow. It seems like Violet is starting to find her footing, using her quick thinking and adaptability to overcome these challenges.
Right.
I'm guessing this newfound confidence played a role in the threshing.
It definitely did.
Okay.
But before we delve into that, let's set the scene.
Okay.
Imagine a vast arena filled with nervous cadets,
Yeah.
seasoned instructors,
Uh-huh.
and a menagerie of magnificent dragons, each with their own unique aura and personality.
Okay. I'm picturing it.
Good.
The air must have been thick with anticipation and a touch of fear.
Yes.
What happened next?
The dragons are released and chaos ensues.
Oh, wow.
Cadets scramble to attract a dragon's attention. Some succeeding, others facing brutal rejection.
Oh, my good.
In a stunning turn of events,
Yeah.
the legendary golden feathertail Andarna descends from the sky and chooses Violet.
Oh, wow.
But just as their bond is forming, Tynan and another cadet Orin Cypher attack Violet, attempting to steal Andarna for themselves.
Oh, no. What
It
happened?
was a close call.
Did Violet survive the attack?
She did, thanks to the unexpected intervention of another dragon.
Oh, wow.
A powerful black dragon named Terran swoops in and bonds with Violet, effectively saving her from certain death.
A double bonding.
Yes.
That's incredible. I've never heard of that happening before.
It's very rare.
What were the repercussions of this unprecedented event?
Well, it sent shockwaves through the entire War College.
Yeah.
No one, not even Professor Cowrie, had ever witnessed a double bonding before.
Wow.
Especially not with a feathertail.
Right.
It was a clear sign that Violet was not just any cadet.
Mm-hmm.
She was something special.
I can only imagine the gossip and speculation that must have followed.
Oh, definitely.
Did this change how people viewed Violet?
Absolutely. She went from being the underdog, the unlikely candidate,
Right.
to the most talked about cadet in the Riders Quadrant.
This feels like a major turning point in the story.
It is.
Violet has faced death, defied the odds, and formed a unique bond with two powerful dragons.
Two? Good.
What happens next?
Well, we'll have to find out in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned. Okay, so Violet is now a double-bonded dragon rider, a feat unheard of in the history of the Riders Quadrant.
Right.
That's got to shake things up.
It did.
What were the reactions from her family and the other cadets?
Well, it was a mixed bag.
Okay.
Her mother, General Sorengale, was more concerned with appearances than with Violet's well-being,
Oh, I see.
focusing on how this unprecedented event reflected on their family's status.
Right.
Her sister Mira, on the other hand, was genuinely proud and supportive,
Okay.
recognizing the significance of Violet's achievement.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It seems like their family dynamics are as complex as the world they inhabit.
They are.
What about the other cadets?
Oh.
Were they happy for Violet or envious of her sudden rise to prominence?
There was definitely some jealousy,
Okay.
especially from the unbonded riders who were desperate to secure a dragon of their own. They saw Violet as an obstacle, someone who had taken what they believed should have been theirs.
I see.
This created a dangerous undercurrent of resentment and hostility towards Violet.
That sounds ominous.
It was.
Did this hostility manifest in any specific ways?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
There were whispers of sabotage rumors, of attempts to discredit Violet's achievement,
Uh-huh.
and even veiled threats against her and her dragons.
Oh, wow.
It became clear that Violet's double bonding had made her a target, someone to be feared and eliminated.
That's unsettling.
It was.
It seems like success comes with a hefty price in this world.
It does.
How did Violet handle this newfound danger?
She tried to remain focused on her training, determined to prove herself worthy of her dragons and her position within the Rider's Quadrant.
Okay.
But the threats became more tangible, escalating from whispers to actual attacks.
Did anyone try to protect her? Surely the instructors were aware of the danger she was in.
There was a sense that the instructors were turning a blind eye to the situation, perhaps believing that Violet needed to learn to handle these challenges on her own.
Wow.
It was almost as if they were testing her, pushing her to her limits to see how she would respond under pressure.
That's harsh.
It was.
It seems like a very sink-or-swim mentality.
Yeah.
Did Violet ever receive any help?
Well, there was one person who consistently looked out for her.
Okay.
Xaden Rierson.
Xaden?
Remember, he's the enigmatic wing leader we met earlier.
Right.
He often appeared unexpectedly, intervening in situations that threatened Violet's safety, even saving her from a brutal attack in the War College archives.
It sounds like there's more to Xaden than meets the eye.
There is.
Was his interest in Violet purely altruistic, or was there something more to their connection?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that Yarros explores with a deft hand.
Okay.
There's a definite attraction between Violet and Xaden, a spark that ignites whenever they're near each other.
Okay.
However, their relationship is complicated by Xaden's guarded nature and his involvement in a secret rebellion against the kingdom's corrupt leadership.
A rebellion.
Yeah.
This just keeps getting more and more intriguing.
It does.
Did this revelation create conflict between Violet and Xaden?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Violet, who has always believed in duty and honor, is initially shocked and angered by Xaden's involvement in the rebellion.
Yeah.
She sees it as a betrayal of everything she stands for.
I can see how that would create a major rift between them.
It did.
Did Xaden try to explain his actions?
He did.
Okay.
Arguing that the kingdom's leadership is corrupt, driven by greed and a thirst for power.
Right.
He believes that the rebellion is the only way to bring about real change.
I see.
And to protect the realm from the true threat, the Venin.
Wait a minute, you mentioned the Venin earlier.
Yes.
Those monstrous creatures that the Dragon Riders were sworn to fight.
Right.
What exactly are they?
That's a question that has plagued the kingdom for generations.
Okay.
The Venin are shrouded in myth and legend, said to be creatures of pure darkness, capable of corrupting souls and twisting minds.
Wow.
They are the ultimate enemy, the embodiment of chaos and destruction.
So they're like the boogeyman of this world.
Exactly.
The ultimate evil that everyone fears.
Right.
Exactly. And for a long time, people believed that the Venin were just stories, fables told to scare children.
Yes.
But the truth is far more terrifying.
It is.
What do you mean?
Well, were they real?
Yes, and their existence became undeniable when they launched a surprise attack on Athapine.
Athapine.
Yes.
Okay.
A key outpost on the kingdom's border.
Oh, no.
Yes.
This is escalating quickly.
It is.
What happened during the attack?
It was a brutal and chaotic battle.
Okay.
The Dragon Riders fought valiantly, but the Venin were relentless. Their numbers seemingly endless.
I see.
We see the horrors of war firsthand with characters we've come to care about suffering injuries and losing their lives.
This sounds like a turning point in the story.
It is.
A moment where the stakes become terrifyingly real.
Yeah. How did Violet handle this confrontation with the Venin?
She fought with courage and determination.
Okay.
But the battle also revealed something extraordinary about her.
Okay, like what?
Remember her signet? The unique ability that allows her to manipulate time?
Yes, it's been mentioned a few times, but we haven't really seen its full potential yet.
Right. Well, during the battle, as Violet faced overwhelming odds, her signet manifested in a way no one could have predicted.
Oh, wow.
She unleashed a surge of power, not just manipulating time, but bending it to her will.
Okay.
Slowing down the Venin's movements while accelerating her own.
That's amazing.
It was.
It's like she unlocked a hidden level within her powers.
She did.
Did this give the Dragon Riders an advantage in the battle?
It did.
Okay.
But it came at a cost.
What do you mean?
Using her signet in this way drained Violet's energy, pushing her to her limits.
I can only imagine the physical and emotional toll it must have taken on her.
It did.
What about Satan? What was his role in the battle?
He was at the forefront of the fighting, leading the Dragon Riders with skill and ferocity.
Okay.
But he was also wrestling with a difficult decision.
What do you mean?
As the battle raged, it became clear that the Venin were gaining the upper hand.
Uh-oh.
The dragon riders were outnumbered and outmatched.
Right.
Xaden, recognizing that they were fighting a losing battle, made the agonizing decision to order a retreat.
A retreat.
Yes.
But what about the people who were still at Athebyne? What about the injured?
That's the tragic reality of war.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the bravest leaders have to make impossible choices, sacrificing some to save others.
I see.
Xaden knew that staying at Athebyne would mean certain death for all of them.
Right.
He had to make the call, even though it meant leaving some behind.
That's a heavy burden to bear.
It was.
How did this decision affect him?
It weighed heavily on his conscience.
Okay.
He knew that he had condemned some to a terrible fate, and the guilt of that knowledge haunted him.
It seems like the battle at Athebyne was a turning point for everyone involved.
It was.
Violet unlocked a new level within her powers. Xaden was forced to make a heartbreaking decision, and the true threat of the Venin became undeniable.
Oh, sure.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What happens next? So the Vanin are real. They attacked Athebyne, and Xaden made the agonizing decision to retreat, leaving some behind.
Right?
I can only imagine the emotional fallout from that experience.
It was devastating.
How did Violet cope with the aftermath of the battle?
She was devastated by the losses and haunted by the faces of those left behind.
Right.
She grappled with the horrors she had witnessed, the brutality of the Venin, and the realization that the war was far from over.
It sounds like she was going through a kind of post-traumatic stress,
Yeah, you could say that.
trying to reconcile the idealistic world she once knew with the harsh realities of war.
Exactly.
And to make matters worse, her relationship with Xaden became increasingly strained.
Right.
She couldn't understand how he could order a retreat, how he could abandon those who needed them most.
I see her point.
Yet, even if it was a strategic decision, it's hard to swallow that kind of loss.
It is.
Did Xaden try to explain his actions?
He did.
Okay.
He tried to convey the weight of the decision, the impossible choice he had to make.
Yeah.
But Violet was too hurt,
Right.
too consumed by grief and anger to fully understand.
So their relationship, which was already complicated by Xaden's involvement in the rebellion, was further strained by the events at Athebyne.
It was.
Did they ever find a way to bridge that gap?
It was a long and arduous journey,
Okay.
filled with misunderstandings, arguments, and moments of intense emotional vulnerability.
Yeah.
Xaden, still consumed by guilt and his commitment to the rebellion, pushed Violet away, believing that he was protecting her by keeping her at a distance.
That's a classic romantic trope.
It is.
The hero believing he's saving the heroine by pushing her away.
Right.
Did Violet buy into that logic?
Not at all.
Okay.
She saw it for what it was.
Oh.
Fear disguised as protection. She challenged Xaden, demanding honesty and vulnerability.
Wow.
She wanted him to see that she was strong enough to handle the truth, to stand by his side no matter the risk.
Good for her. It seems like she's finally shedding the last vestiges of her naivete, embracing the complexities of the world and the depth of her own emotions.
Right.
Absolutely. And as Violet delved deeper into the mystery surrounding the Venin, she uncovered a shocking truth.
She did.
What was it? What did she find out?
She discovered that the Venin weren't just monstrous creatures born of darkness.
Oh,
They were once human, corrupted by a lust for power and twisted by an ancient magic.
that's a game changer.
It is.
So anyone could potentially become a Venin.
Potentially, yes.
That's terrifying.
It is a scary thought.
It was a chilling realization, one that cast a shadow of doubt over everyone Violet knew.
Right.
If even the most noble heart could be corrupted, then who could she truly trust?
Exactly.
That's a heavy question to ponder, especially in the midst of a war.
It is.
Did this discovery lead to any breakthroughs in the fight against the Venin?
Well, as Violet researched the history of the Venin, she kept coming across references to an ancient book of fables,
Okay.
a book said to contain lost knowledge about their origins and weaknesses.
This sounds familiar. Wasn't there a book missing from the War College archives?
Yes,
The one Violet was so curious about.
that's the one.
Okay.
And as Violet pieced together the clues, she realized that this book held the key to defeating the Venin.
But if the book was missing, how did she find it? Where was it hidden?
With the help of her friends,
Okay.
including Rhiannon, whose signet allowed her to detect lies.
Right.
Violet tracked down the book to a secret library hidden deep beneath the War College.
So there was knowledge hidden within the very institution that was supposed to be training them to fight the Venin.
It seems so.
That's quite a revelation. What did the book say? What secrets did it reveal?
The book contained a wealth of information about the Venin.
Okay.
Their history, their motivations, and their vulnerabilities. But the most significant revelation was the prophecy of a writer who possessed a rare and powerful signet.
Oh.
The ability to wield lightning.
Lightning.
Yes.
But Violet's signet allows her to manipulate time.
Right.
How does that connect to the prophecy?
That's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
The book revealed that Violet's time manipulation ability was just the surface of her signet's potential.
Oh, wow.
Hidden within her power lay the ability to control lightning, an ability that had been dormant waiting to be awakened.
So Violet was the chosen one all along.
It seems so.
The rider destined to defeat the Venin.
Did she embrace this destiny?
Not without hesitation.
Okay.
She was afraid of the power within her, afraid of losing control and becoming the very thing she was fighting against.
That's understandable. It's a lot of pressure to bear, especially for someone who never wanted to be a dragon rider in the first place.
It is a lot to handle.
Exactly. But as the threat of the Venin grew, Violet realized that she had no choice.
She had to embrace her destiny, to harness the power within her, and fight for the survival of her kingdom, her friends, and everyone she held dear.
She did.
So did she learn to control lightning? Did she fulfill the prophecy?
She did with the help of Tarn and Endarna.
Okay.
Violet embarked on a rigorous training regime, pushing her limits and unlocking the full potential of her signet.
Wow.
She learned to summon lightning, to wield it with precision and power, becoming a force to be reckoned with.
This sounds epic. I can only imagine the visual spectacle of a young woman commanding the power of lightning while riding a magnificent dragon.
I bet.
Did she ever confront the Venin again?
The final confrontation took place during a massive battle.
Okay.
A clash of titans that would determine the fate of the kingdom.
Wow.
The Venin, led by a powerful and cunning leader, descended upon the War College, determined to wipe out the dragon riders and claim the realm for themselves.
This sounds like the climax of the story. The ultimate showdown between good and evil. How did it play out?
It was a brutal and chaotic battle, with dragons clashing in the sky, riders fighting on the ground, and the air thick with the smell of smoke and blood.
Yeah.
But amidst the carnage, Violet emerged as a beacon of hope.
Okay.
Her lightning bolts striking down the Venin, her courage inspiring her fellow riders.
She was a true warrior, a symbol of hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. Did they win? Did they defeat the Venin?
They did, but victory came at a heavy price.
Yeah.
Many lives were lost, sacrifices made that would forever scar the survivors.
Right.
But in the end, the Venin were defeated, their leader vanquished, their forces scattered back into the darkness from whence they came.
What a powerful story.
It is.
It's a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the triumph of the human spirit against seemingly insurmountable odds.
Yes.
But what about Violet's personal journey? Did she ever find peace with her past, with the choices she had to make?
That's something that's explored in the book.
Okay.
But she definitely grows from her experiences.
Okay. And what about her relationship with the Venin? Did they find their way back to each other?
Well, their relationship is definitely a complex one. But one thing's for sure.
Yep.
They both cared deeply for each other.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Fourth Wing is an incredible journey, a story that blends epic fantasy with intimate character development, exploring themes of duty, sacrifice, love, and the enduring power of hope.
It is.
Thank you for guiding us through this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
It's been a thrilling ride.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.